All right, welcome back to the 24th floor. We're swapping out the cleats for the Jordans or LeBrons, depending on your generation.
Or Pumas, like I got on. Shout out
like
Steph
I said, LeBrons or Jordans.
Hey, man, or Nikes. See, all right, let me just kind of have some inside baseball. So the kicks that I have on right now, I actually want to wear these on the set, but this guy wants me to just be wearing dress shoes. So I have a lot of people who are out on the streets who be like, you be wearing kicks, but you don't wear them on TV. I was like, I used to, but he told me I shouldn't wear them no more.
That's right.
I'm all about the Jordans, though. You know what I'm
you
saying?
are.
They used to say it was all about the shoes. If that's the case, the Memphis Tigers basketball team, they need to get some J's ASAP.
Right now, in a hurry.
Don't believe me? Just listen to Coach Penny Hardaway. Let's take a listen.
Talking is done. We've talked enough. Guys just got to step up and do it. They just got to get it done. You know, I mean, we tried everything. So at the end of the day, guys just got to get it done. They know what to do. They're old enough, and we work hard enough to get it done. We just got to get it done.
Frustration in his voice. I feel like I listened to most of that entire press conference, and the theme was the same: fed up.
It's always the same, though. Every week when we come on this program, we're saying the same thing. He's always either my bad, I'm fed up, I don't know what to do. I have started to get to the point, Ruben, that I don't know how much longer Coach Penny can take. Now, I am not saying that he will be terminated. I've had conversations with Dr. Ed Scott, incredible human being. I don't think Dr. Ed Scott will let Penny go because he believes in him. I think Penny might actually be like, you know what, man?
Well, I think
I've had enough.
I think something that's maybe more likely is that he might be more interested in flipping the current script the way things are. Right now, he's very portal heavy.
And just going back to the roots.
And he may go back to a little bit more traditional recruiting.
But you got to find that balance, though.
Because the high school kids are hungrier.
Yeah.
And so.
And they want to put that jersey on because they see it in front of them.
And basketball is a little different than football, man. There's a lot of, 17, 18, 19-year-olds who can hoop with the 21, 22-year-olds. Football's different because of the size and the time in the gym and all that stuff. There's a lot of young dudes who can hoop with those older dudes, at least be competitive. And I think what he's missing or what he's hoping to find is some dudes who play like they care.
But let me pose the question to you then. Let's say Penny was able to nab the top, all of the top Memphis area players. Will that team be any better than this team we got right now?
I think they'll be funner to watch.
Sure, but and then
funner to coach.
Obviously, you'll have maybe more support because, I mean, you look on social media, a lot of people are disinterested in this team because they say they don't know the players. And the team isn't good right now. But maybe, I guess, you'll flip the script if you bring more local kids. But at the end of the day, it's about winning.
I think, there's a kind of a misnomer that if you get a bunch of local kids and everybody in the community is going to show up for all the games, that doesn't really happen that way, right? People get busy. The people who know those kids will show up no matter where they're going. So there's a little bit of a misnomer there. But I do think that when people feel like they have a team that plays, the number one thing people want to see is they want to see your team play hard. Yeah. They want to see you play like you care. Go to any tweet or whatever about a team that loses, and the first thing you're going to see is they just aren't playing hard. Nobody's playing hard. Not just Memphis, any team. Ole Miss suffering from the same exact thing. So I think what he's going to have to do is find some hungry hoopers.
I think this team plays hard. I just think they're not well constructed. I mean, we've said it several times on this program. They really only have two bigs. Aaron Bradshaw, which he finally had the game we've been waiting on in that FAU game. He had a team high, I think, 21 points.
21 in the game.
And then they have Simon Majok, who doesn't really play like that because he's still a project player. He's still very raw. This team is a bunch of guards and wings. It's almost like going to LA Fitness or going to the Croc and hooping pickup, and it's a bunch of guards.
Yeah, but
I mean, you don't really have anybody bigger than 6'5", aside from the two players I named.
Well, how many teams in the American do you think are loaded with bigs?
I mean, look at FAU. They have size.
I feel like similar size right there. I'm just saying, we talked about this a little bit last week. That's going to be part of the issue when you have what's been called mid-major or whatever, group of five, whatever you want to call it in basketball. When you have that level down from Power 4, those bigs get big paychecks. Even the bad bigs, the dudes who can barely hoop, but they're 7 foot tall, they're all getting big money from some P4
Baylor
school.
Did to go get Danger,
yeah, so
big guy.
They're getting big money to go play at a big conference, whether or not they can even compete. So that means that the Memphises, the FAUs, the Tulsas, the whoever's, they all have to get that next level down, and there's not enough of them to go around. There ain't 7,000 6'10" to 7'2" dudes hanging around hooping.
But see, that almost brings us back to what we talked about last week. Why do you think Penny isn't just dipping into the international thing like all his peers are doing? Because now it seems maybe, a lot of teams, if they can't find a big America, they'll go international.
So what's the biggest?
How they got
what's the
biggest
knock on international players?
They're raw.
Well, they're soft. They're not raw. They're soft.
You think they're soft?
That's the knock on international. I didn't say
Is
that.
it?
I said that's the knock, is that they're not as physical as American players.
I just thought they were raw.
Nah, man,
you got to teach them the game.
Those dudes are way more skilled.
Look, you had to teach Joel Embiid the game. You had to teach Hakeem Olajuwon the game.
First of all, international players are way more skilled than, in a lot of ways, than some American players, because they're doing skill development at a way younger age.
We're just playing in their international leagues that
we're just
teach us
hooping.
run the money.
So, and then if somebody's daddy over here is coaching the team and the whole offense is their kid shooting the ball 35 times.
Well, let's rephrase it. Depends on where international, because if you go to like Africa, like I said,
That's
you got your Embiids, you got your Olajuwon. You're getting raw people, but still, if you coach them up, you see what they could be.
We're way off topic here. The topic is.
No, I'm not, because that's what the Memphis problem is, the big.
So if you're a coach, you're going to go get kids that fit your style of coaching. Point blank, that's it. There ain't nothing else to it. You're not going to go, if you don't like to shoot threes, you're not going to get a team full of three-point shooters, right? If you don't like to slow down the offense, then you're not going to go get 4 bigs, because then you've got to slow down the offense for the bigs to touch the ball. Bigs don't touch the ball when you're pushing the tempo. Bigs only touch the ball when you slow it down in the half court. So he may not want to play at a pace that allows the bigs to get there. He may be wanting to play at a pace that works best for the talented guards he feels like he has. I think the bigger issue, or again, I hate to misspeak because I'm not in that locker room. The issue appears to be, based on what Coach Penny has been saying, is he doesn't have guys stepping up and playing to the capability that they were recruited. When you're recruited, especially when you get paid, there's a potential next to that. I'm giving you money because I think you can hoop at this level. Once you get here, if you don't hoop at this level, why am I giving you money?
Yeah, I agree.
The dudes got to do their job.
It just is weird, man, because last year it seemed like they had everything clicking. I know it was a completely different team, but now you're really seeing how not being able to retain P.J. Haggerty is biting you. You see how not having Tyrese Hunter is biting you. You see how not having Dane Danger. Those were 3 guys who really was bought in. And it seems like these guys, and we've watched them, they compete. They fight hard, but it's just not translating to wins. And we talked about it. I think that non-conference, I appreciate what Penny was doing, stacking the non-conference slate. But you come out of that with only 1 quality victory over Baylor, and you're looking at now they're 7-8. I think going forward, Penny has to look back and be like, I know what I'm trying to do, but I just don't got the cats who are able to answer the bell.
But you don't know that.
Because the morale, I think, is just hurting now because of all them L's.
But you don't know that. That's the problem with the transfer portal error. So in days past, you knew who you had because the kids weren't leaving. So you knew I have 5 kids. I know what I'm getting from those kids. I can schedule, and you're scheduling years in advance, 2-3 years sometimes in advance, right? You're committing to some of this stuff way early. In a transfer portal era, you don't know what you're getting till you physically get them on the campus. So the dude looks great in film. How many highlight films you've seen? The dudes look like they're just balling out of control.
Yeah.
But then when you get them in, and now they have to learn your system and play the way you want them to play, it doesn't always translate. So just because a dude looked good on film doesn't mean he's going to be great in your system. And then you may not know that until you're having to play. Now you're stuck with kids that, man, now what am I going to do? So that's why I do think there will be, and I don't think it'll just be Memphis. I think all mid-majors, Division IIs, and lower level schools are going to start to see this shift in prioritizing high school recruiting.
Yeah.
Because you're always, I'm going to be straight up, you're always going to lose your big dog to a P4 school. If you have a player that shows out, balls out, a P4 is going to come pluck them away every time. But if you can get you a high school base, a group of kids that you can develop over the course of 2, maybe even 3 years, it's hard to keep them 3 to 4 years all the time, then you don't have to mix in as many you don't have as many question marks basically on your portal kids.
So we talked about this during football season. What does Memphis have to do to get back in that P4 conversation? Because when we look at Memphis athletics, basketball is better than football. So I get when they tried to flirt with the Big 12 and get there, Big 12 wasn't really rocking with them on football because they're not that good. But basketball-wise, they could have had a case. And I remember I've talked to like some, our fellow media members about stuff like that. Maybe Memphis should try a crack at the ACC.
No, I think that's a viable question. Could you get into the ACC?
But the ACC is really good in basketball.
So
they used to be the best.
You'd have to be able to. So there's more. There's more that goes into this. Just so you know, there's more that goes into this than just winning and losing. There is. There's attendance. There's ticket sales.
Enrollment.
Like when you go to a bowl game, when you commit to a bowl game, you have to commit to X number of tickets. Hey, I'm going to go to the whatchamacallit bowl. Our school is going to buy. The school buys 500, 1,000, whatever ticket number that is, and then the school has to sell those tickets to make their money. So you have to have the fan base to support doing those things. And the bigger the conference, the bigger the bowl, right? The bigger the conference, the bigger the arena, the more seats you have to sell. So there is a lot more to it than just how many games you win and lose. A lot of it does come down to attendance, your facilities. Something I told people that they don't even think about is the amount of hotels in your city in the vicinity to your arena or your football field matters.
Yeah.
That matters.
Yeah.
Because those officials from those conferences come down and they survey your city and they say, okay, well, so what if we decided to host a Big 12 conference down here at FedEx Forum?
Well, they got all the hotels downtown.
I'm just using an example. Are there enough hotels to do that? Okay, cool. But what about if we do something at
the Liberty
Bowl?
Yeah. Ain't no hotels nearby.
Yeah, see, so there are a lot more items that go into this than just winning and losing.
I feel like Memphis is knocking on the door of being in a Power Four. It's almost like when we look at March Madness and bracketology, that first four out. Memphis is the first four out of colleges that aren't in the Power Four, and you're starting to see it's just coming to bite them more and more. I got to ask you, Ruben, do you think...
I think you're asking for something you may not want.
Do you think Memphis is cooked? I mean, like basketball-wise, because now they're 7-8. We thought that they were just going to breeze through the conference, and they just did not look good against FAU. They got Temple tonight.
When they play Temple... We'll see
which is the best right now in the American.
It's early in the American. I mean, it really is. It's early in the American. They can still get to the tournament, make a run. They always say you want to be playing your best ball at the end of the season, right? So they can still make a run, figure it out, and make a run at the end of the season. It's just not going to be that storybook, they ran through the conference, they're the undisputed champ. It's not going to have that feel to it. It's going to be a grit and grind.
Like the city knows, grit and grind.
It's going to be a grit and grind
season.
Mud. And, I mean, who better to lead them in a grit and grind season than Penny Hardaway?
We'll see. We'll see.